here's your host, Alex Garrett.
And welcome inside to Alex Garrett Nightly. It's Friday night, right? It's Friday Night Lights. At least the studio lights are on here at Kenny Dig Sports this Friday night. And proud to and glad to be with you here on this Friday night on Alex Garrett Nightly on the Kenny Dig Sports Network. And look, I'm fired up about something that hits close to home, to be honest with you. Because while I do, get around easily on a roller skate, one of them and one leg, I obviously have a huge community of disabled friends. So when I see the Justice Department had the disabled community's back against Uber, I get very excited. Yes, the Biden Justice Department is doing something right for people with disabilities. Because apparently, Uber, and I've had issues, Uber jacking up prices during a hurricane, during a blackout, during, they surge price, and they price gouge, really. They are known for doing this to even able-bodied people. But when Uber price gouges against the disabled community, that should raise eyebrows. Okay, my girlfriend, to be honest, is in a power wheelchair, and she needs Uber and Lyft, accessibility. But back in April of 2016, Uber began charging passengers wait time fees in a number of cities, eventually expanding the policy nationwide. Wait time fees start 2 minutes after the Uber car arrives and are charged until the car begins its trip. Where the Department of Justice is suing Uber here is that they say they violate the ADA by failing to reasonably modify its wait time fee policy for passengers who, because of disability, need more than 2 more minutes to get in an Uber car. They say people using a wheelchair or walker may need to be having it broken down and stored in the car. Someone who's blind may need additional time to walk safely. And Uber just let that wait time fee tick off, keep going. Even if they clearly knew the person was disabled. Now, if you're an Uber driver doing that, you are a POS. If you knowingly see a disabled person and say, all right, we're going to start the clock on this and not stop it, while seeing they need accommodations, you really are a POS. And I don't know. I sometimes think Uber drivers get their license out of a Cracker Jack box. That's just me. I have a gripe with Uber because I just don't like the fact that their commercials seem to think everything's okay, right? Much like Amazon. Amazon makes its commercials seem like everything's A-okay. Everything's great. We're good. Are you, though, when you've got employees complaining about work conditions, complaining about Jeff Bezos, complaining about payment, wage? You're not that good, Amazon. Stop using the commercials to gaslight us. Just like Uber, you have an issue with sexual assault by Uber drivers. Stop gaslighting us and saying you don't. Now, you are messing around the disabled community, and you must have seen this coming, Uber. Because here's the kicker. Uber responded to this, saying they were very disappointed about how the Justice Department filed this lawsuit. They must have seen it coming, because just last week, Uber instituted a change to automatically waive fees for riders who have certified they have a disability. So they must have been starting the CYA cover year, you-know-what, when they started to hear rumblings the Justice Department could do this. They must have been in talks with Justice Department to prevent the lawsuit. It says they've been in active discussions with the DOJ about how to address any concerns or confusion before this surprising and disappointing lawsuit. It couldn't have been that surprising, Uber. It couldn't have been that surprising that your ass got caught. Because if it was surprising, you wouldn't have made a change last week to this very policy, which you've been basically shaking down the disabled community for extra dollars since April of 2016. You should be ashamed of that. I personally choose Lyft, to be honest. I like Lyft. The prices are better. I used to do Uber, but Uber just doesn't, they're too expensive. Lyft is better. They're even accessible. Now, the accessibility, you got to be careful with that sometimes, but for the most part, they're very reliable with that. So, I'm glad you got caught, Uber. I'm glad the Biden Department of Justice is actually honing in on this. Because when you start to mess with the disabled community, I will take notice here on Alex Garrett Nightly, and I will talk about how wrong it is to up the charges against a disabled person. Price gouging is wrong on able-bodied and disabled-bodied people, no matter how many ways you slice it. All right, in the sporting world, can the Mets have any more leaks? I mean, I was thinking today, Mr. Met and Mrs. Met are dancing to Taylor Swift's dropped album on TikTok. I'm glad to see the stadium's open. I'm glad to see the leaks are just flowing out of that beautiful, friendly confines of Citi Field. They don't call it that, but that's, just kind of a play on words. So glad to see that Citi Field is vibrant. But I gotta ask, are the walls a little too thin in Sandy Olson's office? Is that why the leaks are happening? Day after day, we're seeing general manager possibility after general manager possibility named. In fact, I've got one right here. All right? Hear me out. I've got one right here for you. I've got the next GM for the Mets. Lined up. Because here's the deal. This GM is someone described as deciding, as something that may change from time to time, according to how it is working. Right? That seems like a Met GM. They change from time to time, right? They say this GM is only part of a treatment program. And that if you don't take this GM, okay, your blood sugar levels are going to drop. Yeah, if you don't take this GM, your blood sugar levels are going to drop. Now, how many times have Met fans' blood sugar levels dropped? Tell me that right now. And actually, they also say if you stop with this GM, your blood sugar levels could rise. So, blood pressure, really a big factor here with this GM. Apparently, this GM can mess with your blood sugar. As has any Met general manager, right? Right? As has any Met general manager over the last few years. Look at the last one, Zach Scott. He made your blood sugar rise. He made your blood pressure rise because, you were just found drunk in White Plains after his boss, Steve Cohen, let him drive drunk. Are you kidding me? The owner of the Mets, what are you doing? They say the most the most common effect of this GM is again lower blood levels. So, it could be a risk to take this GM, as blood sugars could easily fluctuate, as every Met fan's blood sugars do during a season. If you pick this guy, you're probably going to have sweating, dizziness, headache, and shaking. And I mean, isn't it the perfect GM? Isn't it the perfect GM? Because doesn't every Met GM do this? I think so. They say this GM could include nausea, diarrhea, stomach pain, headache, upper respiratory tract infection. Now, I don't remember ever a GM for the Mets causing tract infection, but I do remember him causing nausea. Steve Phillips, you were great for a while, but then you just wanted to get randy with an employee. Forget if that was ESPN or as Met GM, but it was bad. Steve Phillips caused some issues too. Jim Duquette, another guy who made the Mets fan base in a tizzy with his general manager moves. Now, how to use this Met GM? You've basically got to intake the guy as Met GM whole. You can't crush him, you can't chew him, and you can't break him. If you miss this Met GM, you cannot double up on another GM. You've got to make up for this one, meaning you really got to take this GM. And there's some safety advice for this GM. Apparently, this GM may not be able to drive if their blood sugar is too low or too high. In fact, they say don't drive. This GM should not drive if these kind of symptoms in the blood sugar occur. So what GM am I talking about? What is the big guy I'm talking about? Because I could try and carry this joke on, but I don't know. It may not be working. It's a tablet. There's literally called a Met GM 500 milligram tablet that's controlling blood sugar levels in people with diabetes. That's the most effective Met GM I could think of for a while. An actual tablet called Met GM is more effective than the actual people who have been GM in the recent past. Rob Porter, useless. He was fired for sexual, misconduct at the Cubs. Zach Scott, what was he? Brody? So I can't believe a tablet. Met GM, the tablet, has more effect than an actual Met GM. Just hire a tablet then if it's more effective. Let the tablet make the calls. Look, you utilize a couch, Brody Van Wiggen, to change pictures from your couch. So inanimate objects have been useful for Met GM. Maybe just get a GM tablet. to be the GM, since it's more effective than a human. And that's saying a lot. And it's no wonder why when these leaks come out, the GM is like, GM Canada's like, nah, I'm not going to be named in this. And I'm not going to be joining the Mets. It's embarrassing. But it's more embarrassing that a tablet called Met GM could serve the people better than the actual Mets general manager. That's hilarious to me. I mean, maybe you don't find it funny. I certainly do. Speaking of the Mets, by the way, I'm very proud to have my latest shirt. The Braves, after winning the World Series, I want to get a Braves shirt called the Home of the Braves. That's such an American shirt. Home of the Braves. I might wear it one 4th of July if I ever get down to Atlanta. It's such a creative shirt on TikTok, on Fanatics, that I wanted to grab it. So there's that little bit of tidbit there. Now, apparently there was a buzz because men's soccer had their World Cup qualifier tonight versus Mexico. Look, you got to talk about a team on Alex Garrett Nightly that needs to prove itself. It's the U.S. men's soccer team. Okay, we have not had men's soccer be effective in a while. So anytime they can win, I'm excited for them. I'm very excited for them. I like that Kemba Walker tonight's been going off on the Hornets, scoring at 1.17 first quarter points versus Charlotte. And by the way, the Hornets are up 139. The Hornets were up 196 against the Knicks, and that that's another tough one. It's another tough one where the Knicks should be winning a few of these games here. And yeah, you're not going to beat the Bucks twice, but at 6-7, the Knicks are 7-5. They should have beaten the Hornets tonight. But what can I tell you? Again, those types of things are very, very streaky. But yeah, I am just so proud that the Justice Department is going after this. I can't take my mind off of it. Because whenever wrongs are done and wherever price surges and price gouging goes on, I feel like we have a duty to talk about it and to say, hey, let's prevent this. Let's freaking prevent price gouging once and for all. Because it's a awful money-sucking technique by these companies who are making way more than the average Uber rider, by the way. Now we know why, but that's a tidbit. They make millions of dollars, and yet they have to take from now people with disabilities more. Who are we dealing with here? I ask you. Who are we dealing with? Feels like we're dealing with true blue corporate America. Now, yes, there are some upsides to corporate America. I've talked about that. There's a business roundtable. There's a roundtable of these big companies that are doing good things, and we have to honor that too. We have to say capitalism is in the community. But where capitalism isn't in the community is when you start price gouging in the community, like for people with disabilities. That's not being in the community. And so I urge Uber, I urge these companies to do better at capitalism in the community. It's a phrase I've thought about often. Because even our Starbucks, even our McDonald's, they're hiring our local neighbors, basically. Our local New Yorkers. That's capitalism in the community. Yet somehow they are the evil 1%. For what? Taking all the money, yet giving college, paying for college for baristas? That's a pretty big deal. That's better than what the state does now, giving 5-year-olds a college education, a scholarship for, and it's not everybody. I guess 50 people, 50 kids, 5 to 11 are going to qualify. But still, it's this idea that hard workers are being rewarded by these companies internally, yet our own government that we pay public money to don't reward us. They bat us down. They say no, stay down. We don't want you to rise up. That's what government tells us. And they think we're going to be tired of it. No. We're going to be fired up against this, try to make us lose our will. Meanwhile, the 1%, quote unquote, Starbucks, the 1%, and I don't want to talk about Amazon because I don't like their practices. But going to local places like Starbucks, especially in Dunkin' Donuts, where they're making your iced coffee, they are good people that work there. And they are they are a capitalism in the community. That is the definition of, not Amazon. As much as we should have had Amazon in this city, I didn't like the way they rolled it out. I didn't like that they were saying, well, they're getting $3 billion tax breaks. Jeffrey Bezos is going to have a helipad. I didn't like any of that. But I did like the idea of opening up for jobs in the community. That's what we need. Help wanted signs are everywhere. Even at Citi Field, right? I mean, come on. Help wanted signs are everywhere, even at Citi Field. They can't find a GM. Like the local deli can't find a person to get up off their ass and work. And it's very concerning. Because the way we get the economy back here on Alex Garrett Nightly is to encourage going back to the job force. Go back to the office space. Not sit there and collect, some kind of stimulus every few months. Or some kind of unemployment. But we're at a standstill in America. The supply chain being at a standstill is no exception. Do you know? I now hear there's a labor shortage which could affect mall Santas. That's how deep this is getting. If we can't even have every mall Santa there, we're in trouble. We're still going to have Christmas. I believe that. But I also believe that we are in a shortage. A standstill, a shortage, and I'm trying to think of a word that starts with the letter O. To define complacency, because that's what it is. There is a sudden complacency I'm seeing on Alex Garrett Nightly. And I don't know if it's just because people are now waiting till the end of this year to maybe bust it back out in 2022. Maybe 2022 is the year of the checking back into society, to the world, for everybody. But right now, I am feeling a major checkout. It's the energy. The streets are not back to where they were pre-pandemic. The life is not where it was pre-pandemic. The ships are stuck at sea with our supply. The supply chain is messed up. There is a major truck driver issue going on. There's like a shortage, I believe. There's people that are being fired for not being vaccinated. There's a growing unwillingness to work in protest against the mandates. There's that too. So on all levels, there is a complacency and a resigning that scares me. That while there is a group of Americans fighting back, the majority right now are I'm feeling checked out. I'm feeling are checked out. Now, the polls don't say it. President Biden has a 60% disapproval rating. That's unbelievable. That's crazy. But it just shows that there are people fed up. And those are probably the people that are out of their house and back at work. But why are we seeing job numbers that still seem stagnant? Where's the urgency, America? Where's the checking back in? I want to see that. I want to see 2022 be the year of checking back into society. We need to, or we're going to lose America if we don't sign back in. And who wants to lose this great country? Not me. And I hope you don't either on Alex Garrett podcasting / Kenny Dig Sports Network, Alex Garrett Nightly. I hope you don't want to check out. I hope you don't want to lose this society, lose this America we love and we cherish and we grow and we work in and we have capitalism in and we have a way to compete and a way to strive for something. I'm telling you, there is a force trying to beat us down. And that force has hit sports. Maybe I didn't talk about this, but when you have a bunch of people wanting to boycott a sport because you're not happy the kneeling's going on, or you're not happy that NBA has BLM on their court, you're not happy because they're getting too political. Well, don't let them win. By boycotting, you're letting them say, yeah, we're going to run all over you guys. You, the paying customer to watch these games, to watch these players. Don't let them bully you as the paying customer. And that is actually a great tagline for the rest of America. Don't let them bully you as a paying customer. To be quite honest, when we pay taxes, we are paying customers to this country. Are you happy right now, Alex Garnelli? Are you happy right now when you turn off that sports game and you think about life? Are you happy with it? Do you think you're getting the bang for your buck here in America right now? Do you think when you see Broadway wide open, but the local restaurants not, that's a fair shake? When there's more concern, and yes, there should be about Cal right now, but more concern than the black-owned businesses, and any business has been burned down in the last year. Oh, well, insurance could fix that. No, it's beyond the insurance, idiot. You're letting them destroy livelihoods and going after the 17-year-old. Why aren't we going after both? Why aren't we going after both? That's why people are checked out, because they feel the grips of the government. They feel the grips of control, and they're tired, but they're too tired to fight back, some of them. Those who are not tired to fight back, they are fighting back. And they showed that in Virginia. They showed that in Minnesota when they said, no, we're keeping the police department. Those are the people that are fighting back. Sure, New Jersey didn't go Jack Ciattarelli's way, the Republican way. But here in New York, we might have a tough mayor. And I know we talked about this last night. But I just came to this realization. God hoping 2022 on Alex Garrett Nightly is the year of checking back in. It'll be the biggest checking back in since, I don't know, Michael Jordan checked back in to Bulls games. Think about that. Let's not be checked out anymore. Because the more we're lulled to sleep, the more we're going to lose this society, lose this country. And Alex Garrett Nightly, I do not want to let that happen. I want us to win in society. I want us to keep this society. I want us to keep this fabric of America that's allowing Real Leo, that's allowing all of us to be on the air right now. And loving talking sports with you guys, the listener. That's the America I love. That's the community feel. That is the capitalism in the community. Where there can be growth, not just stagnation and inflation, but literal growth. So as the paying customer, we must address what we feel is wrong about baseball. And then paying customer in football, paying customer in basketball. And we should speak up if we don't like certain things. Now, shut up and dribble, that's too extreme. But the NBA basically excommunicating Kyrie for the moment. And maybe they had to follow New York City policy, but I feel like a deal could have been done. If I'm honest with you about that. I feel a deal could have been done for Kyrie and the Nets and New York City. But no, they wanted to stay politically correct. And that's why rebelling against these big companies like Uber is so important to see. Even as by the government, yes, you're holding your company accountable. That is huge. And I hope more companies get held accountable. And I hope more, more criticism. No, not more criticism, but more scrutiny is on these leagues. Because in sports and in life, we are a paying customer to all of this. And if we're not getting the bang for the buck on Alex Garrett Nightly, let's address that and change that for 2022, where we can no longer be checked out once the calendar turns. We all be checked back in, or we're going to lose America. We're going to lose that ability to get the best bang for our buck. So let's wake up before it's too late. Here on Alex Garrett Nightly, Can You Dig Sports? We are beyond sports today. And in life, it's hitting us beyond sports. And that's my message on a sports station, that yes, there are so many big picture things going on that we cannot be lulled to sleep with. Let's go, Brandon. Here on Alex Garrett Nightly. We'll talk to you Monday. Have a great weekend. Enjoy it. Giants have the bye week. Jets' Mike White is in. Irish are playing tomorrow. I'll be excited for that, as I always am. And the Knicks and Nets, always something to look forward to now in this fall, winter seasons happening. We'll talk to you soon on Alex Garrett Nightly. Stay tuned, by the way. Can You Dig Live is next. at 11 p.m. Don't want to miss that. As Leo said earlier today, we're ending this week in style on Kenny Diggs Sports. And I'm so proud to help you end it with some style, with some fun, and with some truth. Let's not let America be lulled to sleep. Let's check back into the game in 2022. Can we do that? And more importantly, can you dig that idea? Have a great night and a great weekend.